So we're at PRI, we're walking around and talking to all the people that we work with on the Camaro project, and we work on projects for the shop. And Wilwood is a big one. Everybody knows that we have Wilwood brakes on the Camaro. We're also developing a Wilwood kit for the Tesla. So we're going to go talk to our buddy Mike Hamrick about what the latest and greatest are. So Mike, I know you got some new stuff that you were wanting to show us for the Camaro, and also some cool new products you got. So what have you got for the Camaro?
So earlier last year, we sent you the new floating system that's used in the snap ring. It's called our lug drive. So you thought it was pretty badass.
Yeah, no more safety wiring a bunch of bolts and worrying about stuff coming loose.
So we're calling it the lug drive system. So basically the hat is forcing these lugs on the rotor to spin, but we're capturing the hat and rotor together with an internal snap ring that can never come out, right?
Yeah, and it can expand thermally. It's got the motion it needs, but it can't loosen up.
Exactly. So
I like that.
I think that's going to be the next thing we need to do on your car. The other thing is I want to get the calipers back and look at how we can go from, you know, when you first started building that car, you've had the same calipers on it, on the front especially. We started off with our street version of the Aerolite, but now I want to get them back, go through them, look at how they're wearing, but then get you new bodies that are going to go to the thick race pad.
Cool, and the thick race pad will allow us to have a little bit more thermal insulation from the rotor surface, right? It'll keep the heat out of the caliper.
Absolutely. So a lot of people don't think that that's a big difference, but you go from 650 thou thick to 800, it adds a lot.
Yeah, it's an insulator basically, right? So yeah, I like that. It also gives you a little bit more wear as well, where the brake pads don't get so thin so fast to where it starts transmitting too much heat to the brakes and causing fade issues.
Exactly.
So I really like that, but while we're standing here, this is a really cool looking caliper.
So this is our new XR4R. So it's our, inevitably it's going to be kind of what takes over the Superlight series of caliper. So we're first doing 4-piston because that's where we've been doing all of our testing on asphalt applications for circle track and road race. X-bridge, so we're going to a closed bridge, stiffens the caliper up a lot. Finite analysis.
Yeah, you can really see all these angles are kind of load paths in the way that it's designed. It's a really neat concept, and it's lightened up a lot around the pistons where you don't really need meat, but then it's got all this bracing everywhere you do. It's a really cool looking piece.
The other thing that I really like that we're moving to look at do more is using a stud instead of a bolt.
So you get even more stiffness?
Way stiffer. And I mean, that's all going to transfer to a way better pedal feel. You know, trying to get all the compliance out of these brakes is super important.
That's really cool looking.
Yeah, so super stoked about that. You know, there are quite a few other things that we're working on. In other markets, we've got our new UTV brakes, and holy cow, that is going to be huge.
That sounds cool.
It's pretty far from what you guys do, but oh my dear Lord, like everybody has been getting into UTVs, racing UTVs, and there's inherited issues with the brake systems. It's just Polaris, Can-Am, they never thought that they were going to push these vehicles where they're going with oversized wheels and tires and all the horsepower. So they've always been under brake in technology. So going to some of the new stuff that we're doing, it's going to be badass.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Speaking about under braked, we have a Tesla Plaid that you and I have been working together on, trying to get good brakes on it. Maybe we could show people what brakes we're kind of doing on that and why.
Yeah.
And let's
walk over there.
The one big thing that I noticed right off the bat with the Plaid, and I'm not alone, is that it doesn't have enough brake for what we want to do with it. And being that we've always worked with Wilwood, I reached out to Mike and we started getting on, figuring out how we were going to get a big Wilwood brake kit on it. We ended up deciding to go with an absolutely massive caliper because we have such a heavy vehicle that it's going to take a lot of brake to get that thing slowed down. And we also get a really big pad with a lot of thermal mass, which is another good thing because we're going to generate a lot of heat. So it's a really large 6-piston caliper.
It's called the
Super-
SX6R.
Yeah, super nice piece, and you can see it here on a rotor. We're also going to be using the snap ring technology in the back so that there's no bolts holding it together. It can completely float, but there's nothing to come loose. So, anything you want to add?
Well, the good thing about this snap ring setup, this lug drive is, you know, like the T-bolts that you've been running on the Camaro, it's mechanical. So until you get a little bit of heat into the brake system, sometimes you'll get rattling on a street car. Your car, not a big deal. But on a street car, we don't want that, especially a brand new electric Tesla, right?
You don't want it to sound like you're shaking a tambourine as you're driving around a parking lot.
Exactly. So what we've done on this is it has wear plates that keep any of that noise down to
So it's
a
just
minimum.
like a little bit of a spring that holds tension on it so
Yep.
that it doesn't rattle around on you.
Exactly.
That's a cool idea because it is one of those things that, like the full race cars, people really don't mind a little bit of noise. But when you have a street car, you don't want to hear your brakes rattling when you're going to dinner with your wife. You know, so this will keep that quiet.
Yeah, that's why I thought going this way on the Tesla was the right approach.
But we've got it all on the car. The machine work's all done for the brackets. We figured out all the lines. We're ready to go test it. So I'll have to report back to you next week and let you know how it works.
No, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's gonna be something where we can learn from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be cool to see, you know, is the caliper enough and can we keep it cool enough with such a heavy car?
Yep, I think so.
All right, well that was super informative. I always like coming out and seeing what's new. I kind of got some ideas for those new cool looking calipers. So we're going to go check out some other places, but it's always good to talk to the guys at Willwood. So we're here at Forge Line. We use their wheels on the Camaro, and we're looking at some new wheels that you've got to use them on the Tesla project. So what do you guys call this one?
This is called the SS1R, and it's developed from our GT wheel. This wheel is made for like IMSA and World Endurance racing, super stiff, super strong, and we needed to make a version of it for more of a street car, normal race car, not a full-blown everyone. So that's this. This is the center lock version. You're probably going to do the 5-lug version. So it looks slightly different, but it has the same design components. It's currently our stiffest and strongest wheel, a little bit better than the GS1R. Not much, but a little bit still good.
Yeah, it's got a lot of height in the spokes.
I-beam spokes.
Yeah, they look strong.
Yeah, very, very strong, very stiff.
Yeah, that's going to be a good thing when we got a car that weighs that much.
Say, for that really heavy Tesla car.
That thing weighs a ton, so
Absolutely.
we need to make sure that it's going to be a strong wheel, that if we hit a curb or something, it's not going to be a problem where we... So yeah, I really like the idea that it's strong, and it's going to be available in all the different finishes, I'm assuming, right?
Absolutely, any finish you possibly could think of. Yep.
Cool. Are there any cool new finishes that you guys have going on? I know this gray is new.
Yeah, this is called, we call this frozen charcoal. It's a new finish for us. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a pearlescent gray. It's got a real nice metallic to it.
Yep, and the powder lays real nice. It almost doesn't even look like powder coat.
Yeah, it almost looks like some kind of an anodized finish or something.
It does. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Anything else new?
Anything else new? What else do we have new left? We have a truck wheel. It's been out a little while, but this is the first time it's been in. So this is called the TR11, made in 17, 18, 19. For off-road use, very, very strong, very robust.
Yeah, it looks extra stiff.
A little bit different design for us, but designed for the truck market. We have the Trans Am wheel. So Trans Am TA1 cars are going to 18-inch wheels from 16-inch wheels, and I think we're going to have a majority of the field, a large majority of that field when they start racing.
So are they doing center locks or are they doing 5
Yeah,
legs?
it's a center lock wheel with a giant outer. So
yeah, that is a wide-looking wheel.
13 fronts and 14 rears.
Oh, wow.
So big tires.
Yeah, that's a lot of tire.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We also have an 18-inch carbon barrel now with the big lip on it. We've never had that before. That's a brand new product. Limited sizes at the moment, but this wheel in 18 by 11 in this configuration is 16 pounds. So
oh, wow.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it's probably super, super stiff as well.
Correct. Yep.
That's really cool. Well, the other thing I've been thinking about is making the Camaro wider in the rear so that we can there's some really massive tires available, so we've been kind of toying with that idea, so I might have to talk to you about that. See if we can get something that's going to be wider. Because if they make tires for those that are that wide, then why can't we use them on the hill climb?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you got to have bigger tires.
Yeah.
Always bigger is better.
Absolutely.
So, well, cool. Well, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
So, walking around PRI still, ran into our friends at Sadev, and they've got something that's coming out that's going to be super cool that you're going to see in Jason Bottenfield's Texaco Camaro coming up really soon. And I thought it'd be a cool opportunity to talk with Justin, show you guys the trans, because it's really exciting.
Thanks, Mike. So this is our new SCL 924 Longtail, which is our latest evolution in the SCL 924 inline. It's meant to be a direct replacement for the Tremec T56 or T56 Magnum. Has a bunch of new features that are a first for our SCLs, like a T56 style speed sensor. Comes with an integrated shifter, which is the first one of ours that does that as well. But other than that, also keeps all the cool SCL 924 features like the integrated oil pump, the drop gear in the front, torsion bar for torque multiplication, and
Got your
a wide
gear
selection of gears.
Well, it's got the cool gear sensor, flat shift sensor. The shifter is super, super clever. The way they designed this, you can mount it in the rear position, the forward position, reverse it, and then the shifter's actually keyed so that you can alter the angle of the shifter as well. So you can get up to 8 different shifter locations with one transmission, one shifter, which is really nice when we're putting these into muscle cars and stuff. The other thing that's great is if you look at this, it is way smaller than a T56 Magnum. So this is going to fit in trans tunnels where a T56 might not. Another thing that's really cool, T56 is going to weigh about 130 pounds. This right here is 90. So there's huge weight savings, space savings, and a direct bolt-in replacement. This is a really exciting product that's going to make putting a sequential in any car so much easier.
We're super excited to work with Mike on the Jason Buttonfield Texaco Camaro project to do some testing with this, and then we should have units available to ship early next year.
It's going to be cool. Well, guys, we'll show you guys the install of this in the car, and we'll give you some behind the scenes on the testing and what we do to make sure that everything's working properly. Well, we made it back from PRI. It was a lot of fun. Got to have a bunch of great conversations with the people that help us on the Camaro project and also the other projects at the shop. Now it's time to get back to work, get things done. Please, if you like our videos, like and subscribe.